So this will be the continuation of my school video, right? So as I was saying, my father has to write this letter that if I don't perform well, I may have to retrieve from the school, and that would be the thing. So with that hope, I started my new school. I was already 2-3 months late in the admission. The course was already done. So I joined in kind of the middle of things going. So for me, it was very hard to catch up the things. I was already a weak student, and then I was already in a class where already a few of the stuff was already taught. So yeah, so catching up was hard. I couldn't understand what was happening in the class because I didn't had the previous lessons, right? Let's say if you want to learn about divide, you should know how subtraction works, right? If you want to learn about multiply, you need to know the addition. This is just example. This was not the exactly example over there, but you should know, like, there should some prerequisites which you should know then. So those prerequisites I have missed though the current things is going. So it was very hard for me to understand. First of them was that I need to have the notebook, like, hey, what kind of questions they have done and everything. Most probably I remember from the maths. So these things, so it was hard for me initially. So even as soon as I joined, there were few tests and all. And how I supposed to do well on tests when I haven't learned all those things, right? And I cannot write my whole sentence by my own in English. So I failed miserably in the class test and everything. So yeah, it took some time to cover up and everything, like whatever the things I got taught over there. In the exams, has to struggle really hard, and I barely passed. I barely passed in my first 6 months. I barely, like, overall I got passed, and we had like 13 to 14 subject that time, and I think 12 or 13. I mean, maybe saying it more, but yeah, 12 or 13, I guess. So in 12 or 13, I failed in, I think, four of them. So we used to have English divided into two, language and literature. It was ICSE school, so you can understand. And so can you imagine? Okay, you can definitely in any other I will fail in English. So that I failed in both English language and literature. Then I failed in, you won't believe, I failed in Hindi. Both of the Hindis, Hindi language or literature, I guess. Coming from Hindi school, I failed in Hindi, right? You must like. So the problem was that I know how to write Hindi, I know how to understand Hindi, everything. But yeah, it was terrible. Their idea of Hindi was different. Um what do we say? Yeah, maybe people have egos as well. And my teacher was like very strict Hindi teacher, that whatever I taught you, the opinions which I has on certain answer, that same opinion should come in your answer, like your answer. You have to mug up and write. You don't have to write by own. You can write by own. If they doesn't like your opinion of that answer, they probably not gonna give you mark. So that I think understood from that. So I got failed in Hindi as well, and it was terrible. Coming from Hindi school and previous school, I was failing in both of the Hindis. I would probably tag my result card over here somewhere of my sixth class, so you can guys look that thing. And I was like, fuck man, what this thing. So yes, life was going on. I was trying to catch up. I was trying to do this rat and cat race, right? Everybody was ahead of me, catching up the things which I missed for one thing. That only, like, that has this domino effect, right? Once you are late to something, so once I catch up to the previous thing which I missed into one term, the other things will I miss. So what is actually happening right in the class. So I covered that domino effect was very hard to break out. Like, it's a cycle. It's a cycle which for me. So yeah, so I had a really bad summer that time. My half yearly was terrible. Somehow I passed, and slowly. So one thing that helped me, I was so low in confidence because I was terrible on writing things. I was so bad. I'll tell you an incident. People, so teacher will jot down, like they will speak in the class, and then you have to hear it and write in the notebook. And I was so terrible at writing because I was homeschooled, everything, right? I didn't have that speed of writing. So when they will dictate things, I will probably miss out on a lot of writing. Like I was so bad that somebody dictating, I cannot jot down with the same speed. Even in the rough, they will speak so fast that I will not catch up with these guys. Everybody will write and I'll miss somewhere. So my homeworks, my notebooks were terrible. So then I had to take somebody's notebook and all. Even that time, nobody will give you notebook. I was a new kid. Making friends was hard. The friends who I made, they were so bad that they didn't have their notebooks already complete. So asking from, even the girls were so naive, not, they were so like bad. Like, hey, I don't want to give notebook to this guy even. So I've been rejected for notebook from the girls or whoever I ask right now. They will probably come up with some excuse like, hey, I've not done properly, I cannot give you something like this. But yeah, it's not like a few of them gave, it's not like all of them couldn't give, but yeah, I remember one or two giving them eventually. But the number was very low. It was very hard for me to even get notebooks. You can think, right? So, but yeah, as soon as the next term came, right, I started accelerating. So how I got was that we used to have art classes, right? And art is the only subject where you don't read some prerequisites. You have to be creative and draw things and everything, right? So I was low in confidence of most of the subjects. Probably understood few things, but my language was a barrier, so I would not able to express it. I couldn't understand English, everything. Slowly, I was able to speak words by words. In the in the second half year or something, right? In the sixth final term of the sixth class, I started gaining progress better. I was working hard. I was learn whatever I could learn, and how that happened, it came from the art lesson. See, in the art class, I will give my all my best, right? There was no prerequisite. I could just draw. I could do. I was creative enough, and I will stop drawing. And my teacher will praise me like, you really did some good job over here, right? And they will really praise me, and that gave me confidence. So whole other seven lectures or subjects was fuck up for me, and one class I was getting praised for it, right? And that like really raised my motivation, like okay, I could do something in the good in the art. And that confidence was carried on to the other subject as well. Eventually I was doing hard. I was good at maths and everything, but just as the language problem, I could not understand what this question means, right? I know it in the Hindi or something. So finally started slowly my English was also better because I could listen a lot to a lot of people. I could try. So that school has really good environment that helped me to learn all this thing. And this art lesson really gave me confidence. Also in English I was terrible, but in homeschooling I was very really taught this lesson. If you know about present past participle, like the forming of sentence, the formation of sentence starts with noun like he she it, basically that are pronouns, right? What the grammatical syntax, there is a grammar, you choose a subject could be he she they it, and there are rules like with this, if it is a singular it will be is, if it is a plural there will be are. Then you will have verb will be have three forms, what kind of form it will go with, if it is singular subject or like if there are a lot of people plural, then there will be other rules. So I was very good at those drills. I have done that thing in my homeschooling, and that chapter came, right? So over there I remember those all rules from my house, and I could make a formation of a very grammatical sentence back, right? So I did really good in that test, and then my English teacher was quite impressed with me, like, hey, you understood it well. She thought that she taught the subject so well in the class that I understood, but I have like learnt it previously. That really helped me, right? Her class was just generic as it was, but my previous knowledge of that thing helped me, and I was able to make really good grammatical sentences over there. And that day I was like really being appreciated. Hey, I could I get appreciation from my English teacher, like, hey, you understand this thing well, good work, and these all things. So this was happening, and this final term happened. I did way better than my previous exam. I didn't failed in any of my final term, right? I had like 60% of like previously I was around 41 42%, right? This time I from 41 to 40. Now teachers were like friends to me. They know what kind of guy I am. I had got friends this time. I able to win the trust of my friends. Now people will give notebooks to me if I lose some homework or something, right? That friendship occurred, and slowly girls would even give notebooks I could take. And there was now I was among them. I was with them. I was somebody while failing and this whole thing. But still, I was in the lowest in the rank. In seventh class, I was understanding English well. I could write sentences. I was very creative, and I could remember my English teacher picking up my notebook, and she gave a subject on heaven, some very good topic to write about heaven or earth, something like this, hell or something. She gave me, she gave all of us to write an essay, and I wrote such a lovely essay that she really got impressed, and she picked up my notebook and showed everybody like, this is how you write essay, this is a very good essay. And I was like so proud of myself that I'm the same guy 1 year ago, like I was failed in 4 subjects, and there was both literature subject, and now my teacher is like doing this thing to me, and like I'm so happy, like same teacher has failed me, and this time I'm improved, and this thing is really working in my favor. So yeah, that kind of was short victory for me. I was able to write and everything. And also in 7th 8th class, one incident happened that uh, so there was a teacher who was from USA. My school was really good. We used to have volunteers from different countries to teach us. I only interacted with 2 or 3, and her name was Amanda, and she used to teach us geography, right? And this was a very huge lesson for my life, right? That time I didn't understood, but now I understand it. So she gave us homework for, like, she divided all the students in the country to different country. I got Australia, some people got US, some people got Chile, some got Guinea, like South Africa, whatever, and everybody has to learn about the geography of this thing and have to make a summer project. So the way to make good marks and everything is to that write more pages as much you can write from the book, describing the pages, and the more you write, beautifully you write and make the folder, the file, more diagrams you have, the better marks you will get. And and I was terrible at this. I will not waste my money on stationaries because I was not learning anything, and I didn't like, my parents will not even give me that much money to use on the stationery and do a lot of writing, and I was lazy. I cannot write that many pages, 20 30 pages. So what I did, uh, I used a origami, right, to make different blocks like which can open. If you have seen this game, which like if you play it, like it's a box, and we call tippy tippy tap top, something like this. This is a game which papers could split into middle, and like you can have multiple layers. So I used a origami kind of style to make a outlet, and this outlet you can open many pages. It will look this small, but if you open it in a very three-dimensional way, it could open into different shapes and different sides. So this, it was a notebook, but the page was open in a very different way. And in this one I drawed Australians. I got this country Australia. I draw the map of Australia on each pages, and one pages I will show where the coals are, where are the petroleum, where are the savannas, where are everything. So each page dedicated for one resource. So this crazy idea I made it because I didn't had lot of time and I was lazy to write so many pages. I just wanted to convey information. I made this one, and I submitted it. And for my and I was like, I just wanted to do my job and let's just get over this homework as low in less effort as well. And what happened, this when marks came, right, I was getting like one of the highest marks in that project, and that blew my mind. Like I was not expecting that some real person could judge me so much with this creativity. I didn't expect. Indian system doesn't support, like no Indian teacher will be having this crazy idea of giving. They would probably have rejected me and say, what the fuck you have made, make a proper folder what other people have made, write files with pages inside it, what this thing is. But that teacher understood that thing, and she appraised my creativity, and I got really good marks. And other people have written like thousand like hundred of pages, spent like a week writing those things in a project, handwritten project. Whereas me, I made it into one day and it was so good. And then I understood like how the smart work can lead you to such a good thing, right? So that was a great lesson that she taught me, that you have to be creative enough. It's not always writing, doing more. It's about how creatively you display. So that school gave me really good lesson. And so this letter which my father wrote, right? I would always see that always pin up behind my principals. There was a dashboard kind of thing, so it will be always pinned up over there. So whenever I used to visit office, so we has to take stationery from the office, right? So in principal's office there is a place to take stationery. Our school has a very different. The stationery was free. Any new pages, any chart papers, any drawing thing, they would definitely give you. So I used to go and the principal's assistants and these all things. So one time I went there for some work according to my fees related thing or something like this. And I spoke them with a very good English, very fluent English, and they really appreciated me. Say like, hey, this look. Do you remember? They pointed me to other of their staff members. They say, do you remember this kid? Like 8 9 months ago, he came with his father, took admission, and he's able to speak so well and everything. So yeah, they appreciated me, and things were going really well. So in my sixth was my hard time. Seventh I really flourished, and this school was till eight. And the eighth class I became very lenient. So that was my downfall of my education, because I made friends. Even though I don't do homework, teacher will forgive me because I was being friends with them. Everybody knew. Uh, People will help me with the homework. I was like I was friend to the top guy. Like if you have a top guy in the class, I was friends with those people, right? So I have all the leisure. Like they will make. I just have to be enjoying with them, and most of the work will taken care because I was there in the part of their company. So that happened, and my eighth was not that good. I became lenient. Somehow I progressed in other areas. So now, yeah. So seventh, eighth. Now also there was a sport. So in the sports as well, I was good, but I never played football. And this in this school, people were really passionate about football, cricket, and cricket. I was good enough, but in football, like they would never let me play forward. So they started with my as a goalkeeper. So whenever a new guy comes in our class, has to start with goalkeeper. Then you have to on the time you have to win them, play defense, show good performance in defense. Then you go center and then forward. So that was a progression, right? So initially they used to me goalkeeper, and now I'm fucking full time striker. So that progression happened in that area of life as well. So in 2 3 years, I was able to climb every ladder over there and put myself at a very great spot, which I initially came. So that was it. But yeah, this is not the important crux of the story. The important crux is that I became so much friends and everything. In the 8th standard, I was like, I don't have to worry about. I have friends who can take care of my homework. I speak well enough English. I can try. But there was no personality as of me, because I just wanted to win the approval of the elite group of the class. I just wanted to be friends. I has my no own personality. I would just stick to the what the group wants, right? The cool boys of the class wanted I to be just part of that thing, right? I didn't had my own personality choices. Even if I like something, I hate something, I'll do what people expect me to think of, right? And there was my one of my friend who has his own personality, and he would not agree what the whole class is doing. He will have own thinking. For that he would be criticized, he will not be friends with us, and he will always have some problem going with it, but he will always stick to his personality, right? He will never gel. He will only take the action what he feels like. I was being friends with him. Sometime my other friends will do bad things to him which he doesn't deserve, but I was so like I was not man enough to interrupt them and say that you guys are right and this guy is correct and we should not do it. And in wells I will. So I I would say that even I do will be in their part and in bullying him. Like I don't think I did that aggressively, but I would somehow be part of that bullying group other than supporting him. or maybe neutral most of the time. But being neutral in that situation also, I'm saying you are the part of bullying. So he used to get bullied by the whole group, which was also part of the group. But he has a note personality. Sometimes he will not play with us. He will go with junior people and other kids, other classes. There he would spend time. He has a note personality, and I didn't understand back then, right? And this guy, I was being friends. In the end, we will fight, but somehow we'll go together. He was a very kind person. He was a very good kid. But I never understood that you can stand out, you can have your own decision. You might face little harshness, but you will able to do it. So this guy has that thing, right? And so when my 8th standard came, I passed, and now this school was only till 12th. Now I had choice to go in the other school. Like now you have passed from the 8th standard, and now to choose another school, right? That was the original topic of the video, like how changing schools could really change your life. So now everybody was going different schools. There was the so my the school name was Shishya, the which I was talking about, right? Where these people have made and everything, right? So now there were so many popular school. One of them was DGS, Doon Global School. Then there was Doon Presidency, and then there was other schools in the Dehradun. And there was a Carmen School, right? So yeah, all of them was trying. Some folks was trying here and there. So one of my friend who come up with a school which was newly opening that year only, and it was nearer to my house, right? And I didn't had this thought. I wanted to go to school where my friends are going. I didn't wanted like which is best for me, which is best for my family financially, what is the other consequences. I was driven by that, hey, I will just like accompany any friend who is good or something, right? So I had a rich friend who came up with this school, and he told me this is really good school, maybe we can try. So two of my other students from my school, we followed him to the school, and so this school new started. Right now, I am a fresh face. Right, whenever you change school, now you have to portray the new personality. You could be whoever you wanted to be. Right, these things I didn't understand back then, and so I was coming from this school was very good. Like I didn't knew back then. When I go to next school, then I understood the value of my school, like how good school I was coming from, how well educated I was, how much growth I have made. So the with three people we came from that school. Whenever we both through the nine, we were like separate. We will excel in academia, sports, and everything in the new school because we came from such a good school. And when you go to some lower tier school, you can see the difference between other people and that school, right? So we came from such a good privileged place. Teachers were really fond of us, and again I then we three were like friends over there most probably, and we enjoyed our time. I was doing without even doing any extra hard work, I would have good marks because I understand English well, I could write English well, and the new kids, the other people who joined were not that great like this, and like there was no competition other than we three of them, right? So we three were the best amongst them. The I was always lowest my other friends, right, from that school also. So we three of them, I would be the top three, I will be the three in the class, other two will be the top two of their class, those two. So I was having no problem. I was in chill mood. My life was so easy. I was getting praised from the teachers because my previous school was so good that I didn't have to do a lot of hard work. I was excelling just with some little work, right? And what happens that after 1 or 2 years, my other friend could see that there was no competition for him, right? And whom we followed to that school, and he felt like he should change because he has a lot of money, he can pay a lot of admission fees and go to this thing. So he chose another school. But my family is not like that, right? I cannot change, I cannot readmission or take school which is far from my home. Otherwise I have to give a lot of fees, or then I have to give traveling fees and these all things. So that time, one of my friend almost so one friend still, so after the boards, 10th board, this other friend left because he has money and he has better options, so he changed the school. And And my one other friend which came from my previous school, he left the schooling after 10. He went somewhere else. He, that's another story which I'll probably tell why he left. He basically he left. He didn't study it after 10th of the board. He only right now his only qualification, if you ask me, is only 10th pass. So he left. Now I was being alone. Now is like the now you can say me after my 2 years of journey with these two people, I was literally alone in the school. Yeah, I did made friends, but the new friends were there, and the new this new school, this school which I was, now nobody knows which school I come from, how am I teaching. So now for the first time, because my two competition eliminated automatically by this scenario. One chose because he didn't want it to be smartest person, which is the right decision to take. He went to another school. He has money as well. Second one, he was also good. He left the school, and somehow for the first time I was in the spot like the you would be the number one. You be. I didn't qualified it. Circumstances made me to be number one. Like I could be the number one guy in the class who will academically do good or sports wise do good. And for the first time, how I felt, how it feels like to be top. Like you get a lot of attention, you get a lot of validation. You are like shining bright like sun, right? So I could feel that hotspot, right? And so I could feel how it feels like. It's so addictive to being on the top. It's so addictive. Now for the first time, average student came to like I came to know like this is the spot. This is the feel. This is the place I want to be life. Like it feel for us. Like I didn't did that hard work, but coincidentally I was in that position. I could feel it, and it was so addictive. And this didn't long like after 6 months of that in my 11th class, there was so the principal of my school changed, and so many new students came. A lot of people from northeast came. A lot of other people came who were also from very good school. Like they just like I came from a good school. They also came from a really good school, and they were really actually talented. So now this new competition started, and then I was like nobody. Then again I back to put in my place where I belong. Then I was nobody. New people came. They were really good. They had their time. But what happened this time that I became that guy who has his own personality. I know that what I wanted, how better I felt when I was there at the top, how better things happened uh, where I was at top. So now that feeling that totally changed my life. I now started thinking everything, every thought process changed. Now I started feeling like how can I get back that place? How can I now the new competition there? They are really good people and everything. So for me that I cannot beat them with their academics. Like they will write long pages of projects, they will do everything, they will have notebooks made. They knew how to master this mechanism. They were a perfect child of the system, right? They were systemize everything to excel in this kind of syllabus. And me, I was like more like a raw dog, right? So I knew that I cannot beat them with this academics things. I has to be extraordinary to beat them. So there I started fine tuning my education. I let go things where I will get more marks or anything. Started learning from the first principles. I was okay getting scolded for not doing projects and homeworks and everything, but I'll make sure I understand the basics right. I make sure that I give extra time learning the basics and not roting things. I make sure that I can do properly, which I has described in my previous education video, which you can guys also check out. So I did the things right way, understanding. Even I get scolding for it. Even I being, and after one year, I was like a guy who would answer any question if nobody could answer. Like I became that jack of all trades in my class. I didn't was not getting that good marks, and eventually marks also started coming in. So whenever I reached my 12th standard, I was doing really good. I would only understand things for understanding, but I never go for marks, and everybody was impressed with me. And I was very respected guy in the class, and again I came back to the hierarchy. Again I came, but this time I was not like just circumstantially placed it, but I this time won everything, right? So this only happened because those friends who accompanied me to this new school, those two friends, if I from initial days, if I could go to a school where I was only a lone guy, then I would have much personality development than going with my friends, right? Because I didn't have to work on my communication, how to new make friends, new environment, because and we three of them will help each other at that new school, so we don't have to do a lot of hard work, right? I wish that I could have the same environment when I came to that sister school, like the first one, that school where nobody was helping me, nobody was even giving me notebook, I had to do. There I had much more growth. It was an uncomfortable life, but I really growed well over there. Same thing if I could do to the next school, that would have been really cool. But I accompanied with two guys, and we helped each other very much, so the life became very easy, and they didn't grow that much. But when these two guys left, I was by alone myself, and I had such a tremendous growth in my life. I made really good friends after that, like real friends who I even talk to and have shared. Right, because now I was alone, and the few new people came who were also alone. We had same problems, and we could gel really together. So that was a blessing in disguise. My friends left me. Usually, when your friends left it, you have problems. But for me, I needed hardship in my life to grow, and that hardship came when these two of my friends left from that school. Right, and I could feel what my own personality was. I was not like guy who will follow the herd. I used to take on my decision. If I don't something like this, I will probably say it on your straight face. I will not let get bullied any other person because I am being associated to large group. I would have my own identity and decisions, right? So yeah, that was a great learning for me, and that has changed my life, right? So yeah, put yourself as much as in hard situation. There you will learn more. There you will learn things in the right way. So that was a blessing in disguise for me that my friends went and somehow I be alone. And same thing carried over when I went to my college, and there was nobody from my, I didn't picked up a college where my other friends, that these things I didn't understand back then. This is I'm understanding now, that somehow happened correct to me. That time also, if my one of my friend was going to some college, I would have followed them. But in this class, none of my friend went to that college where I wanted to go. Say they could not afford, and somebody, and most of my friends was from different states, so I cannot follow them, right? So in this new the high school of mine where I was alone, there my friends were of different states and different locality, so I couldn't follow the same college. They went to different state, but I was in Dehradun, so I picked up my college, and there was I was alone, and this was like my arc, you said. So this college I knew. This time I had all the knowledge, but how I can improve my education. So this time I knew I'm at a new place. I could be whoever personality I could be, because there is nobody who is asking you were. I could embody a new personality in my college. So probably I'll make a video on that, how my college started, and whatever the stories you heard, you must have got idea what kind of personality I was. Right, but in the college everything I flipped 180. So that would be an interesting story which I'm very excited to share with you guys. Please do leave comments and everything which you can ask me or any clarity. I hope you find some learning from this story which could help in your future. So that's it. Sayonara.